because I like giving into the guests because I feel like those are more powerful headphones, and I feel like because they're more powerful headphones, that it's easier for people to hear themselves, and all the mistakes you usually make, like drawing away from the mic like this, or like bringing your mic way too close like this, like I feel like they get solved with those headphones a lot.
Okay.
Because they're much more sensitive.
You know what? Hold on a second. I want to show you something.
What do you want to show me?
I saw this the other day, and I just thought about it because we're doing the podcast.
What were you thinking about?
Come on.
Don't yell at your phone, bro. It's getting signals from space.
Fuck that.
God, I hate that. I hate that Louis C.K. was such a jackass because every bit now that Louis C.K. like all the Louis C.K. bits are kind of like the same thing with
funny.
They are funny.
Just because he fucking jerked off in front of some
Can you not curse so much on the podcast? That'd be great.
Fuck.
And yeah, like no, he did a bunch of horrible things. I mean, he's coming back. Apparently, he performed this week, and apparently to an applause. Like he performed, I think, at the Comedy Store or somewhere, and he performed to applause. Like he came and showed up at a Comedy Store. Go ahead.
Have you ever heard the Joe Rogan podcast?
Yes, actually, I've been listening to it like crazy. Why were you?
Awesome, right?
It's pretty great. It's a little.
It can get a little dry sometimes.
Not dry. They have like a white guy view of things a lot of times, but I do love them. Why? What's up?
All right, listen to this.
It's entirely possible that
Pause it. He does say, like, Joe Rogan does have a lot of he does have a lot of vocal quirks, and he does have like a lot of talking points that he reestablishes. Like, for example, I think you would love him because he's all about like aliens and like talking about UFO
I do love Joe Rogan
theories and stuff like that. I just never got into. Me and Alex a long time ago had an argument about like what happened if aliens were real and if they came to Earth, what would happen. And Alex is all about the point that like aliens need resources when they arrive at Earth, so it's gonna be definitely to come to do an invasion and take over our resources. And I'm of the opinion that if you have light speed technology, which is what you need to travel large distances between habitable planets, you do not need to take over a planet like ours, because any resource, if you can manipulate light speed and if you can like work with wormhole technology, you definitely then have the technology to create matter of any sort by just manipulating atoms, because that's the kind of it's in the same area of technology to do light speed and wormhole travel.
Not really.
To manipulate. It's the similar amount of intellect. It's going to be a similar field because you need a fuel or you need some way to create energy of that massive amount to travel any vessel light speed into habitable planets. You need definitely something to manipulate matter or to create matter. Of any sort that you need, either being gold or fuel or whatever you consider.
Whatever it may be.
But you still believe that aliens, if they do come to Earth, they're coming to invade and take over.
No.
Oh, so you changed your mind on that?
Well, I haven't entirely changed my mind. I actually think it's a better theory. The aliens are already here.
Ooh.
Living among us.
Like Men in Black?
Not exactly. What a lot of people are saying is that, there's hidden bases, and what's really been growing in popularity lately is USOs, which is unidentified submerged objects, which is basically like underwater UFOs.
Yeah.
Underwater flying saucers or cigars or, like the actual shape.
Yeah. I guess this also ties into like the blip, the sound, the hum.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few things that they've found. Underwater, I think by Africa they found, like by South Africa, they found something that more or less resembles a Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it. It's basically what happened is that there was a ship that was mapping out the floor, and then, the ocean floor is usually, it's either really rough.
Yeah.
Like it's always a consistent. It's either really rough.
Yeah, like volcanic.
Or volcanic, or it's very smooth.
Mountainous, yeah.
Okay. Well, there, at one point it was very smooth, and then it raises 30 feet, and then it's just a big circle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even playing around. It looks like there's either like antennas or boxes or whatever that are just on it, and it's in the shape of more or less of the Millennium Falcon, where it's the circle that squares off, and then it has like a thing that comes in.
That could also just be a volcano atoll, Alex. That can just be a volcano that stopped and like became.
Well, I mean. Okay, hold on. Let me show you the radar scan so you can actually see this thing.
So for listeners out there, when I was saying the blip or the hum, those are, I think was it NASA or NOAA who was doing studies a few years ago. It's actually the premise of Cloverfield. The original Cloverfield movie was based on the hum, and which is this noise that they picked up that lasted for like 5 seconds, that scientists have figured out that if it is a living organism, it's something like the size of Cloverfield. Like it's a humongous creature that we've never seen before, that has ridiculous abilities to just grow, which is honestly kind of true. The only place where you can find like gigantism that's unchecked is in the ocean. For example, whales. Some other animals out there. Marlins, for example, can grow continuously for long stretches. They really have they're apex predators that really have no challengers. So usually they suffer from a form of gigantism.
That is the actual radar scan of the ocean floor.
Yeah, Alex, but this could also, again, be like a top of an extinct volcano. I mean, it does look a lot like a Millennium Falcon. I'm not gonna lie; it looks like Han Solo.
And the thing is that if they've gone over with more detailed radar scans, and like you can see, like there's like stairs and stuff like that. Like, hold on.
So maybe George Lucas got his information from like a real source, is what you're telling me?
There, look, this is the more accurate one. Well, not accurate, but like,
I mean, that looks like more cut and dry. It looks like more detailed, oriented.
Yeah, because they like stood on top of it for a while scanning it.
I don't know. Are you of the opinion, like Tom, that the government's hiding like a lot of information from us? Can you please move the phone away from the? There you go.
Yeah, of course I am.
By the way, hi everyone. This is Raul.
This is Alex,
and we are CosplayFame. You can find us on all social media at
COSPLAYFAME.
So to get off that tirade really quick, how are you doing, Alex? Everything good?
Yeah,
tired?
I'm all right.
You look tired. You look haggard.
I am tired.
I am tired as well. To give people a little bit of background information on me lately, I've been working crazy hours. My job decided to make me work a new set of hours to accommodate other people, which I've tried, and I'm trying to adjust my schedule to help out people. But while that's going on, friends at my job, which I try to do a Sober October with in light of what Joe Rogan did with his
but you're not doing a fucking Sober October.
No, because my friends wanted to put at work do not understand what's the word I'm looking for, just basic just friendly competitiveness. They wanted to go all or out or none. So literally the day I pitched this to one of my friends, he decides to push it to the extreme and make
push it to the limit.
Yeah, literally. Like I see the counting cocaine. There's a tiger in the background. There's you gotta first you gotta give up breads and rice, because they know that breads and rice is a weakness for me. I'm like, that's fine. We'll give up that. And I gave up soda as well. So I literally gave up breads, soda, and rice, all wheat in general, for this Sober October that I wanted to start in like late September and then in October, because in the end of October, the way we were going to celebrate was going to Halloween Horror Nights. But this guy wanted to push it all the way into the mid-August. The end of August, which I was like, okay, I'll let that slide. And then there became like a whole day there was a whole deal with the cheat days and like whatever. So I've been kind of cranky is the point I'm trying to say.
I mean, I think that guy is being pretty unreasonable because Sober October is supposed to be October.
Yeah, but he just doesn't understand limits. So, and I appreciate that about him. He's a good friend because he doesn't understand limits. But part of being his friend is that he doesn't understand limits. So he just likes taking everything 0 to 60 like a Corvette. So I have to go along for the ride, and that's.
No, you don't.
Yeah, no, I do, because it was also because one, because I enjoy his friendship, and two is because I need to set a challenge for myself as well. I don't enjoy the boundaries of this challenge. I don't enjoy the parameters of this challenge that much, but it's a challenge nonetheless, and I got accepted. So, guys, you might be wondering, why is Raul talking all this crap about how cranky he is and not about DragonCon, because DragonCon's going on this weekend. So, Alex, how about you ask me, why is Raul not at DragonCon?
Why are you not at DragonCon?
So, there's a great reason. One is because DragonCon's really expensive and it's really far from Miami, and it's a hard drive to do. And on top of that, I'm going to be graduating, by the way, listeners, I'm going to be graduating in December with my bachelor's finally and be a 31-year-old bachelor student.
And he is also a bachelor.
Well, I don't know. We'll see about that. So I had to pay for my tuition. On top of that, again, going back to work, I had to help a lady jump her car. And Alex, what happened when you jump a car when it's on?
Okay, so my brother decided to jump a car, and I don't know if any of you know about cars or car batteries or whatever. Usually they start going out when it's hot because, you know, the water or acid on the inside gets warm. Mm-hmm. Okay? As that happens, it starts weakening. Now, if you put a lot of strain on your battery, a lot more strain than usual, which jumping a car could do, then your battery is just going to go out. Yeah.
So I made the mistake of jumping the car when it was started because I felt bad for this viejita who works.
By the way, what type of car is it?
Her car? It was like a Tacoma. That was the other thing I was worried about.
That's probably what happened.
A small sedan jumping the battery of a Tacoma. So I jumped her car, and then I turned off my car, and I couldn't start my car because I.
And then she fucking drove away.
Yeah, more or less. I don't think she knew what she did. So I usually don't have vengeance or anger for people like that. So the point is, don't jump anyone's car when your car is on. Try to jump the car with your battery and your car turned off, and have them start their car, so it doesn't burn out your car as well. Because you can also, something I found out also from our father, is that you can blow out the alternator in your car. If you do that,
you can damage your alternator. That is very true.
So that's just a little bit of car knowledge for any of our listeners out there, any of the cosplayers and people who like listening to us. Don't jump another person's car where your car is on, no matter what the other person says.
Well, to be honest with you, these days I would just recommend not jumping anybody's car. I know it sucks, but if you really wanna help somebody, most people, your insurance company will have a roadside assistance. They can come out and jump your car. It's usually free of charge. That's probably the best option. If not, you can actually get.
There's a jumper pack.
There's a jumper pack that's not expensive.
I found out.
I'm actually thinking about getting it for the truck just in case.
It's only $70, honestly, and it's rechargeable.
That are cheaper.
And it's probably cheaper, and they're rechargeable, and you can reuse them. You can actually use them to power a laptop if you need them. They act like a big power bank. That's pretty much what it is.
Basically, what's good about them is, I mean, they're not. You're not thinking about. We're not talking about like a huge battery.
Yeah.
Okay. This is something that is going to be able to jump your car once, and then you're going to need to recharge it.
Yeah.
You know, you can probably recharge it from the inside of your car, but the fact of the matter is that, you know, we're not talking about a huge battery. It's not something that you should be depending on to jump your car every single time. You should just get a new battery if you're having trouble, unless you left your lights on.
So Yep, just a little tidbit. So I had to pay for tuition this month. I had to pay for a brand new battery this month. And on top of that, it was going to be a big ordeal going to DragonCon. And as much as I want us to represent the cosplay community, especially the one here in South Florida, as much as possible everywhere we can, where we've done it before with San Diego Comic-Con, when we go to MegaCon, when we go to other cons, it's really, really tasking, mostly on me, but also on Diana. And I just felt like it was going to be a stress-filled trip with me on a very, very tight budget. And unfortunately, I can't do that. I can't live that way right now because just life. Life is really tough. And it's not knocking DragonCon. I love DragonCon. I think it's one of the most beautiful cons out there, especially for cosplayers. In fact, if you guys are there, BD Character Labs, run by Brian Doyle, he's doing panels up there. He's doing a lot of great stuff. He has a Goro build. He built a freaking Goro cosplay, which is amazing.
That's fucking crazy.
That he's going to be showing off there at DragonCon. So by all means, please follow BD Character Labs, Brian Doyle's company. The guy is amazing. Again, he's going to be there in DragonCon. There's going to be a lot of people who've been on this podcast who are going to be at DragonCon. Corinne from Caligula Love is going to be at DragonCon as well. Diana probably knows a lot more people who are going to be at DragonCon than I'm forgetting their names. And the DragonCon staff has been really friendly to us in general. Like, we had passes, but unfortunately I had to email them recently saying that I wasn't going to be able to go. So, guys, you may be wondering, how can you help out us here at CosplayFame to do these cons? And it's very simple. One, just show your support and love and rate and review our podcast. It does help us out. It gets us more in the national spotlight and allows us to get advertisements from people who work with cosplayers and people who just work with nerd companies like ours. So that's really important. Whenever you can rate and review our podcast, we always recommend it because it helps us out tremendously. You don't know how much it helps us out. The second way you can help us out, if you want to be more personal and you want to be a badass, just fan of ours, is donating to our Patreon. And what does that help us do? I know people have been craving for us to do video content and do build tutorials, which we've really wanted to do. Me and Diana have really wanted to do. Alex has also really wanted to do that. Alex used to be really into building masks and stuff and redoing masks. Mm-hmm. So how can that help us out is literally donating to our Patreon so we can afford the time and afford the equipment needed to do it. It's not even to give us money. We literally do not benefit financially. We do not get enough financial gains if you donate to us. The only thing it will help is the company itself and help us travel, create content, and interview personalities that we weren't able to interview before. And it just helps us get more content out for you, the viewers and listeners and fans of our page, which we do love you guys, and we're not knocking you. We're just saying these are ways that you can help us out more than just listening and following us. But if you listen and follow, and that's how your fanship goes, that's totally fine as well. So off my tirade there, we will go to DragonCon in next year. I assure you, me and Diana have already talked about it. We're going to plan out next year really well, and we're going to do San Diego. We're going to do DragonCon, and we're going to try and also work in New York Comic Con as well, because we want to have representation not only of South Florida cosplayers, but for just cosplayers in general. There's a lot of great people out there who never get interviewed, who never get shown some shine in these cons, and we want to do that for them. So, do you want to add anything to that, Alex?
I want to get shown some shine.
Do you want to get shown some shine? Well, you got to do a cosplay. When are you going to freaking finally do one, bro? You haven't
not in a long time.
You bought the Deadpool. I remember you bought the whole Deadpool outfit, the Deadpool hat. I got you a little Deadpool grenade, and never happened. Nothing ever happened with it.
Well, it happened a couple times, but not at a fucking convention.
At a con. So, if you were to go back in, would you go back in with the Deadpool cosplay, or would you do something else?
I don't know, man. Because
you have to consider it.
Yeah.
Well, what about Gray? Would you take him as cosplay? You should do Winter Soldier.
No.
I saw someone do that recently.
No. Gray is not going to a convention.
Why not?
Because he's never been around so many people. I don't know how he's going to react.
I mean, you guys want to get him service dog trained.
I don't want to get him service dog trained. I want to get him. What's the certification called?
I don't know. There's service dog.
No. It's not service dog. He's not going to be a service dog. It's it's 2 levels beneath that. Right now, he's like basic. You know, like
he's basically trained. He's like,
yeah, he knows like sit, down, come, touch. Like that is basically you have your open palm facing downwards, and then he's supposed to touch your palm with his beak. Okay,
his beak or his jaw? I don't think dogs have beaks.
Are you
they
sure
have a
about
snout.
that?
They have a snout.
I mean, even the dog trainer fucking called it a beak. So
We're gonna listeners look it up online. I'm pretty sure that's not called a beak.
I got that from a dog trainer, so you can go eat a dick.
I mean, the dog trainers can be like not super intellectually sound on. Just because you can train a dog doesn't mean you know everything about a dog.
I mean, he knows a lot.
I mean, yes, he does. But I mean, I'm pretty sure you don't call a dog's snout the beak.
Whatever.
Or their bite. I mean, their bite. Yeah, that makes sense. So that's what. Like.
Okay. Well, they
whatever.
They touch
whatever.
their nose to your open palm.
Yes.
Okay. And then, you know, whatever.
So you wouldn't ever take Gray to a con?
No, not unless like he ended up being around people like by accident and he reacted okay. Mm-hmm. Then okay, yeah, then maybe. But
so
I don't think I'd ever take Gray to.
Would you take Gray to Disney? Because there's dog days at Disney.
No, I don't think I'd ever take Gray to Disney either.
Okay, got you. Because
I don't. Because the thing is, the other day, I went to the dog park with Gray.
Okay.
Okay. He was okay. He was being a little shit, basically. You know, he wouldn't obey the commands that I would yell at him and whatever. And it's not like I was telling him in a bad way. It's just, you know, he was playing with other dogs. You know, so he's concentrated on that. He's not concentrated on me at all. And then the other day, we went to the dog park, and there was a dog that almost bit him that was foaming at the mouth. So I'm like, okay, let's get the fuck out of here. Because, I mean, I'm not entirely sure, but what I recognize when a dog's foaming at the mouth and almost bites your dog,
that's
because,
a sign.
Yeah, it's a sign of fucking rabies.
Well, it can also be, I mean, even wolves and other animals foam at the mouth when they're, like, trying to be... I think it's more of a sign of them being aggressive, no?
Well, yeah. But the thing is that he's at a dog park. Why are you going to be aggressive? You know? My dog was literally sniffing the other dog's butt. Not aggressive. You know, just introducing himself. You know, that's how dogs introduce themselves. They sniff each other's butts and whatever. And then when Gray went to sniff the other dog's butt, he almost fucking bit him. Like, no, bro, fuck you. So I was like, okay, well, first of all, that dog must have something because he's foaming at the mouth. My dog has never foamed in the mouth. I don't want to have him foaming at the mouth.
Yeah.
So
I Gray's a young, like, he's still like a puppy in some people's eyes. Like, he's only 10 months.
Well,
was he 9 months or 9 months?
9 months.
And he weighs 70 pounds.
Yeah. He's only 9 months old.
So, for listeners out there
hold on
who...
a second.
Go ahead.
It's the 31st of August.
Next month, he's 10 months.
September, October, November. Okay, so, yeah, in September, he'd be 10 months.
Yep.
So, right now, he's 9 months.
Yep. So going back to the topic, what advice would you have for listeners out there who get a puppy? Like, what little things have you picked up on, or what have you learned about dogs ever since getting Gray, who was a 10-pound puppy when you first found him, and is now a 70-pound monster who takes apart your house?
They're gonna teeth.
Okay.
All over the place. So it's normal for them to chew on a lot of shit. There's a lot of shit in my house that does not look the same as it did when I bought it because he's been chewing on shit. Like, for example, when I'm finished up with my lease, I have to replace a whole bunch of my blinds because he literally just went to town on my blinds.
Yeah.
And there's one of them that, like, literally there's an eighth of my blind that's just missing.
It looks like someone threw acid on your blinds, pretty much.
The corner moldings in most of my apartment are all chewed up. My coffee table.
Your beautiful coffee table.
And my coffee table. I mean, look at it. You can see it from here.
They literally have put a cell cage around the coffee table and entertainment center.
No, because the thing is, fuck that. You know, because look at the dining room. Look,
the
chairs. Some of them are fucked.
No, and
this one's bad.
And for our listeners, like Alex and Orlean have gotten, Alex and his wife have gotten Gray trained many times, and they've been very diligent parents.
I'll show you that one later.
No worries. So I do feel for them a lot. Is there anything else you would recommend besides the teeth?
So yeah, he's gonna bite and he's gonna be a little shit, and you just gotta nip it in the butt. The biting thing, that's something you're not gonna be able to control, because as soon as you're not around, he's gonna start biting shit.
Okay.
You know, no matter what. Now, I would say, excuse me.
No
get him trained as soon as, well, maybe not as soon as possible.
Like 3 months or 4 months.
I would say start getting him trained at 3 months.
Yeah.
Okay. Because there's a few bad habits that Gray has that he's just picked up, because we started training him at like 6 months.
Yeah.
You know. And I mean, it's been okay. Like, for example, it also has to do with there's a few things that we do practice and a few things that we don't practice with him. You know, like there's another command called focus where he's supposed to look you in the eyes. I haven't really practiced that with him.
Okay.
You know,
but he has gotten better. Like, just from listening to this podcast, listeners can tell there was literally an episode where Gray was just barking and chewing on chew toys all episode. Yep. And Gray's been next to us this whole entire time, and he's been relatively chill, and he hasn't barked at all. And I'm probably totally going to jinx our podcast, because maybe in the next 10 minutes he's going to start barking. But
yeah, maybe.
But so far he's been amazing. Like, so far he's been great. And I've seen personally that he's improved, and you and Norleen have been very diligent in training him, and you guys should be proud that you guys have, he's gotten better, is what I'm trying to say. He's gotten way better.
Yeah, because he's not shitting on the floor anymore.
Oh, my God. Okay, so can I tell this story? I don't know.
Tell the story. Okay. Tell it.
So there was one weekend I was watching Gray for Alex and his wife. They went to, I think you guys went to Disney, or where did you guys go? I'm trying to remember. I forgot. You guys went out. And actually, it was the whole family. It was just me, I remember, because I was doing finals week. Oh, yeah. And I was watching.
Yeah, that was Rainbow Springs.
No, I think it was before Rainbow Springs. This one I remember because I went out with my friends for like 2 hours, and I came back home, and
there was shit everywhere.
Oh, just like every like in crevices, on the sofa, on leather sofas, in.
You think it's hard to get off on a leather sofa? My fucking sofa's linen. All right,
Alex. He wiped his butt on one of the felt blankets. Oh my God! And the thing is, he took like 2 poops like back to back. He took like a solid hardcore like man or like wolf poop, and then he took like this nervous like diarrhea poop right after. So the smell was just so rancid, because it was a mixture of like the acidy like nervous poop, and then the smell of that hardcore solid like wolf poop. So like the smell just like engrossed the house. So I cleaned all that up, and I remember I was like, I'll take 5 minutes for myself, just go to the bathroom, just sit down and just like relax. And Mom called me on the phone. She was like, "Hey, how's Gray?" Blah, blah, blah. I was like, "Mom, look, it was okay. Gray kind of made a mess of the house, whatever, but I cleaned it up." And she's like, "Oh, okay." Blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden, I remember I finished up in the bathroom and I was still on the phone with Mom. And what my mother describes when she talks about it, is that all of a sudden I went, "What the hell? Dear God!" And for the listeners out there, in those 5 minutes, Gray managed to not only tear apart an entire chew toy to the point that it looks like he committed toy murder, and like stuffing was just everywhere in his house. He also managed to replicate his poops back to back within 5 minutes of each other. So, yeah, Gray was at one point almost nightmarish for me, but he's gotten way better.
Yeah, he has gotten way better.
So there's the topic I wanted to talk about in this podcast is it actually started from the news that happened a couple of weeks ago about Ruby Rose becoming Batwoman for the CW shows. And I think you and me were starting to talk about it. I was like, oh, that's a pretty good choice. You know, she kind of replicates, and she's a popular face, and she would be good for a CW. And then a petition happened, and also because of outrage to Ruby Rose being given the position of Batwoman in the CW, her Twitter just got ransacked and got like a bunch of hatred spilling on her Twitter to the point where I think she deleted her Twitter. Am I correct? Was that what happened? Or she backed out? She either backed out of the Batwoman project.
Well, I'm sure that
deleted
I'm sure
her
it's
Twitter.
a little bit of both.
And that brought up the conversation between me and Alex, and actually Henry when he was here, about how fandoms have become almost a little, I want to say psychotic, but definitely cultish, and a little bit
too much.
A little bit too much. And we've seen that not only with Star Wars, DC versus Marvel people, which has been like the biggest contention of it, but we've just seen it a lot lately. And I don't know, how are you feeling about it, Alex?
I don't really see Ruby Rose as a Batwoman person, but I didn't see Heath Ledger as the Joker either.
Yes.
You know? Can Ruby Rose handle Batwoman? Maybe. I don't know. I'd like to see.
A lot of people liked her in
Ruby
Orange
Rose,
is the New Black.
Yeah, Orange is the New Black she was actually very, very good in that show. So you know, I really don't know why people would get outraged about Ruby Rose being Batwoman.
This is my new pondering and my new theory on this. We have come from an age in the 90s and 80s that, like, you can tell when something was going to be horrible or something was going to be a great movie, for example. So let me give an example of that. Volcano, for example, with Tommy Lee Jones, you knew that was not going to be a great movie. You knew what it was, pretty much.
Yeah, it was something to turn your brain off and just watch it.
Watch it. So I think the problem is from the 80s and 90s and then into the early 2000s, you started having like this rise in like the quality and the filmmaking of not only shows but of movies. And you saw that with The Matrix, you saw that with the Dark Knight trilogy, you saw that with a lot of films in general started coming out and being way, way better. And just graphics in general, CGI, even in the worst movies nowadays, is way better than the CGI that was back in the 90s and early 2000s. So I think what was going on is a lot of fans expect everything to not only be high quality as far as the CGI, but they're expecting it to be like high quality in the sense of the performances and the plot and the screenwriting. And I've come to realize that you can't expect that anymore. You have to treat it like how you treated in the 90s and the 80s. Not everything's going to be great. It's going to be harder to discern what's going to be great and what's not going to be great.
I mean, the thing is that in nerd culture,
yes,
you know, we've become accustomed to such great movies, you know, that were done with the characters that we love, and that's great. You know, like Dark Knight trilogy is a good example. Basically, the entire MCU. You know, there's a few movies out there that you can see that you get accustomed to having great movies and great shows.
Yeah,
you know, but you know, not everything's gonna be like that, and you know, you do have to like see where some things go, because for example, you know, you didn't realize that Heath Ledger was gonna get so fucking method in his acting when it comes to the Joker. That
ultimately killed him.
It pretty much killed him. You know, I mean, I'm sure that when people heard that Jack Nicholson was going to be the Joker back in the 80s, they were like, what? Jack Nicholson? You know, I've only seen him as a gangster or something like that. And I've never seen him as the Joker. But, you know, he did a pretty decent job.
Yeah.
You know? Michael Keaton, I think before he was Batman, he was a rom-com star.
He was a comedian.
He was a comedian. So how are you going to go from comedian to being Batman? I can imagine that people would say the same thing. You know, Christian Bale is pretty much perfect as Batman. But that's because he has a great reputation. Ben Affleck was iffy when he was cast, but he turned out to be a really fucking great Batman, in my opinion.
And he was a great Bruce Wayne. That's what I feel like. Whenever I watch him.
Well, yeah. I know. I thought he was a really great Batman. I like what they did with that Batman. Okay. I think Batman versus Superman should have been. It should not have been Batman versus Superman. It should have been basically shot-for-shot recreation of The Dark Knight Returns, and that's what it should have been. Because that's basically kind of what it was, but not really.
No, I mean, look, you've heard on previous podcasts how much I despise that movie.
Yeah.
But even my anger towards that movie, I understand that there are people who love that movie a lot.
I mean,
even though I'll never understand it, like, people love that movie and cherish that movie. I don't personally, but some people do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly not one of them, but I'm just saying, you know, as when they cast Ben Affleck as Batman and Bruce Wayne, it was very iffy. There was a lot of people who didn't think that Ben Affleck can be really good in that role at all. You know, they thought that he would bring, you know, that Boston charm to it, and, you know, give him that weird accent that he has. That, you know, that Matt Damon has it too. You know,
the Boston accent.
That
Massachusetts accent.
Yeah. So I mean, it seemed like he did a really good job with it, and that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, I can't fault Ben Affleck for that movie because I think every scene with Batman in it was really good.
So the reason why I bring this up is because, again,
and also in Justice League,
nerd culture in general has gotten really, really biased and almost one-sided to like everything. You have to really love it, or it's a horrible piece of crap movie that you need to destroy and burn with fire.
Yeah, fuck Star Wars. Well, don't fuck Star Wars. Fuck The Last Jedi and Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy.
But, you know, and I can make an argument that Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy were trying to do something different, which is what the critics wanted, and the critics ultimately liked that they did that. But I feel like for Star Wars purists, even though there's no such thing as a purist in the fandom.
How do you make money, though?
What do you mean?
How do you make money, though?
Appeasing fans and making people happy.
Yes,
that movie ultimately did not hit well with Asian audiences. That's the reason why they were expecting that movie to make more than $1 billion at the point. And I know it sounds crazy,
yeah, but the thing is also like you didn't respect any of the characters, and when the fans told you about that, you know, they brought that up to you. Rian Johnson specifically started calling fans dumb because they didn't get the movie, and started calling them sexist because they didn't like that the girl was the lead, or Rose, or the Chinese girl Rose. You know, I mean, I thought she was a shitty character, and then on top of that, I thought they didn't respect Luke Skywalker's story.
Yeah, and I mean, let me tell you, Mark Hamill voiced it a lot.
Yeah, he
through
did.
Through the making of Last Jedi, which I think we should have taken more credence that, like, how much Mark Hamill, who did love and cherish the Star Wars universe and did cherish ultimately his greatest character, which is Luke Skywalker. And when he was saying, like, I don't like the arc where this is going, I don't like where the plot's going, we should have paid attention to that more, I think, and we didn't because Mark Hamill's such a nice guy that whenever he said that, he also said, I understand what Mr. Johnson's trying to do and where the aim was, and maybe that they proved me wrong. So the point, well, again, going back to the point, not talking about like why we hate things and sometimes, is I think we get carried away a little bit, and I even admit that I got carried away a lot with the Batman versus Superman hatred and vitriol I had. Even though sometimes I feel like it's very much deserved, and maybe I'm gonna make a. I've been thinking about making a commentary track to that movie, but I would need you to come on for that to talk about how crappy that movie was. At least in my
drunk
mind,
review,
like a drunk review or something like that. Because there are parts of that movie. I remember there was a former podcast I was involved in, and that really they wanted me to like love that movie, and they made me rewatch that movie, the uncut version, and I rewatched it, and I literally went
the
ultimate version, whatever you want to call it, and I literally went and made like a dissertation, pretty much, of like, why didn't they do this here? Why is this scene like this? Why is this? I remember writing that dissertation out, and I think I just pissed them off more, and ultimately that's probably why I got kicked off that podcast. But my point,
the thing is that it also has to do with the way people are these days, because the thing is that the internet has allowed for people to group up even more than they already had.
Mm-hmm. Which is good and bad.
It's good and bad that everybody has a community that they can come to feel comfortable and whatever. And express themselves. The thing is that life itself is not like that. Yeah. So you do have to hear other people's opinions, even if they piss you off and stuff like that. The thing is that people have gotten into these groups, and that's all, and they become. They solidify themselves in a fucking bubble, with just them in this group, and that's all they hear. And then once they hear a differing opinion, they're like, "Oh my god, what the fuck? Something's wrong with you. Get the fuck away from me." Like, I don't enjoy the new Jurassic Park movies, but I know that there are kids out there that really love the new Jurassic Park movies. Well, I like Jurassic World. I didn't even bother going to see Fallen Kingdom because it looked like shit. But the point is that there's I haven't, but I did look through the entire plot and I found out everything about it, because that's what I do in movies I'm really scared to watch. I actually literally read the plot verbatim.
Does it sound good or no?
No, it does not sound good.
Well, but I guess I had a good feeling about it.
But the point the point I'm trying to get at is that nerd culture, and I like how you described it, that yes, we now have this medium where we can assemble in groups much greater and express ourselves much greater than we ever did before. The cosplay community has grown literally because of like not only Facebook but social media. You have gone off social media almost entirely. Like, you are not on Twitter.
Because I honestly don't really have time for it.
Which is good. Do you feel like your life has become much more easier, or at least much more fulfilling now that you're not on social media?
Because the thing is that like I do still have my Instagram, and I'm still active on my Instagram, and every now and then I do get on my Instagram. Like, I check my Instagram once a day. Yeah. I'm not on my Instagram often. I don't post a lot of pictures. I do leave comments every now and then, but nothing too crazy. Mm-hmm. But really, like I said, all I really have open is my Instagram. I do have my Facebook, but I haven't been active on it since God knows how long. And then Twitter, it's still open, but I haven't used it in years. So that's like a great contrast for me, because I'm like always checking social media, not only for CosplayFame, but for my Twitter. I check it a lot. Again, I used to run like 3 different Twitters at one point for 3 different podcasts or companies. And I remember it took up a lot of my life, and it kind of led to kind of me not growing up as a person. So recently I've been off Twitter a lot, and I've been communicating a lot more people. And I think the older you get, bro, and I saw that with you, and I'm starting to see it with me, the older you get, you understand that there are different viewpoints out there, and that you can't immediately get angry at like the first sign of something going bad or something like that. Yeah. Even though I tell you this, I think still to this day, I still think Suicide Squad's dumpster fire. I'm very proud of that podcast we reviewed about Suicide Squad. Me too.
But I do understand that there are people who love, and some people who literally revolve their lives around that movie, and I need to respect that a little bit, or not respect that, but acknowledge it, and not be a horrible, vindictive asshole to them. So why do I bring this up? Because the Ruby Rose thing was kind of ridiculous. That lady was not even in costume yet.
No,
and
she just signed on. That's all she did.
And we were already being vindictive towards her and kind of just throwing all this hate at her Twitter or at her social media. And some people are strong like you and kind of like me, where like we're okay if people like go after us and like talk amazing amounts of crap about us. But some people are much more sensitive and they can't take that heat. And not that heat, but like just that unnecessary hate where they don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
A lot of actresses and actors have reported that that social media does affect them negatively. And some people turn off their comments in general in Instagram or in Twitter. So that was one thing that upset me.
You know, to be honest with you, if I was a celebrity, I would have somebody just running my shit.
I think a lot of them do, but I think some of them do take pride in running their own social media. So
because the thing is that okay, let's just put it this way.
Like I'm pretty sure, like to give like an off-topic example, but I think I'm pretty sure Kim Kardashian does not run her own social media.
Oh yeah, I'm sure she doesn't. But I'm just saying, like for example, a really good example of somebody who I think should have somebody running their Twitter is Donald Trump. You know, I mean, he's the fucking president. I mean, don't get me wrong. He can do whatever he wants.
He's an American citizen.
He's an American citizen. He's free. Land of the free, home of the brave. You know the whole shit. Whatever. He can run his own Twitter if he wants. Do I think he should? He says a lot of dumb shit, especially since he's the president. He's representing America.
Us in America.
You know?
And you kind of want the person representing you to be like the most level-headed person. Which
Bro,
sometimes
did you just fucking destroy that?
What did he destroy? Did he destroy
Gray, let it go.
Oh my god, he destroyed it.
Fucking destroyed it.
You know.
All right, Gray, that's that for that toy.
Gray's grown up, but he hasn't grown up all the way.
All right, go.
So
go find another toy to destroy.
The Star Wars hate was another one that came up recently, and you started.
But I'm in agreement with them.
I know you are, but there are people who are also in agreement that you guys are dumb for hating, or people are dumb for hating that movie so much.
So we're so dumb that we tanked Solo. I hope you know that that's not because Solo was bad and it had a bad fucking story in the background.
Solo was actually really good. People have told me that Solo was really
I've
good.
heard that Solo is a really pretty good movie. You know, but the thing is that the fans, because of the backlash that came from The Last Jedi and how bad it was, and then on top of that, the fact that Rian Johnson was calling us dumbasses, and calling us dumb, and calling us sexist, and calling us this, and calling us that, and then the fact that this is a whole other thing that I wanted to bring up, but whatever. The fact that Disney didn't say anything, the fact that Kathleen Kennedy, the CEO of fucking Lucasfilm, did not say anything about that. You know, I mean, that kind of sucks. So you know what we did? We didn't go see Solo.
You protested and you didn't see Solo.
Nobody fucking saw Solo.
Do you feel like that was a group effort? I don't remember people saying like in general.
No, I think it was just an unspoken agreement between all Star Wars fans.
That you guys were going to tank Solo.
Yeah, because fuck you. You guys are going to say all that shit about us, then fuck you. And we taught them a lesson.
I don't know if that was that.
Come on, dude. They said, look, they said it was a whole bunch of other shit that didn't even make fucking sense. Basically, they said that, it was the weekend they picked because it's a 3-day weekend and all that. And it didn't make sense what they were saying. Why Solo tanked. Okay,
I don't know. I didn't see like the big groups approach. Like I did see that for Suicide Squad. I can tell you, I did see that people were protesting Suicide Squad, and that Suicide Squad.
Okay, well that I didn't. Movie. I did not see anybody protesting Suicide Squad. I saw what I saw was people not showing up at the theaters for Solo. You know, and Solo in you saw. I was actually excited to see Solo.
We were both excited to see Solo.
I wanted to see Solo. But because of like how everything is gone, I was like, what did I tell you?
But do you think that's because of a backlash to? Go ahead.
Well, what did I tell you when I was excited to see Solo? But what did I tell you? I was not going to see it in theaters.
Yeah.
I told you that right from the start. I'm not going to see it in theaters.
But so my question is, do you feel like that was a direct backlash towards fans being upset and not liking everything that came out of Last Jedi, or do you feel like something that I've been worried about, like with superhero movies, is do you feel like there has been how's it called, a tiring of audiences with Star Wars in general?
No, because you know what, you can come out. There's people who watch the shows. They watch all the shows
prequels,
from Star Wars.
everything.
They read the novels. They watch the movies. They live fucking Star Wars.
Yes.
You know? And for a time, I was one of those people. I used to play the video games. I read the books. I had
books on the construction of the vehicles and stuff.
Yeah. You had fucking blueprints for the vehicles in Star Wars. It didn't even make sense because half the shit was just made up materials and made up mechanisms.
Ooh, kyber crystals.
What the fuck is a kyber crystal? Like, really? Honestly. But anyways, the fact of the matter is, it's not that... Okay, The Last Jedi, it's not a very terrible movie. There's just a lot of flaws in it. Mm-hmm. Okay? But the thing is that you have somebody going out and calling out your flaws.
Yeah.
And then saying, "Oh no, you're just fucking dumb."
Yeah.
That's disrespectful to the fans. And then, those are the people who are paying you.
Yeah. So back to the social media argument. Do you feel that social media has kind of affected the way people have discussions? Like, do you feel like instead of having a debate, we know we're gonna be talking about opposing sides, but we are still human beings and we can still have discussion. Yeah. That now it's kind of been like, no, you're wrong, and
the thing is that because social media is the way it is, that there's no face-to-face talking.
Yeah, there's no realizing that the other person you're speaking to is a human being.
Yeah, well, no. I think everybody knows that everybody's a human being. But the fact of the matter is, I actually heard a really good analogy about this today. Mm-hmm. Basically, it was a story that inspired... it was a video that I saw that was...
inspired by true events?
No, not inspired by true events. It was telling you... It was comparing... the difference between satire and parody, mm-hmm. because it was comparing,
what, Spaceballs, or help me out here?
No, hold on.
All right, so
it was. Hold on, I'm
so while Alex does
the video right now.
While Alex does that research, guys, remember?
No. I have the video. It was
okay. So
it's right here. Okay, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it was comparing Watchman to One Punch Man.
Okay.
They were saying that One Punch Man is parody, whereas Watchmen is satire.
Yes.
And the reason why is because satire shows you... I mean, yes, in the grand scheme of things, it is meant to be funny. But the thing is, it's showing you what's bad about it.
Satire is like an open criticism.
Yeah, it's an open criticism. Okay? And sometimes the satire can be funny.
Yeah.
And then a parody is something that, no matter what, it's going to end up being funny.
Yeah, it's just making fun of either.
One Punch Man is a superhero in a Japanese anime that his superpower is literally no matter who it is, what it is, anything, he can't, no matter what it is, mm-hmm. he can defeat it with one punch. Yeah. So he starts, as the show goes on, he starts becoming bored of life. So he just, not bored of life, he becomes bored of fighting. So because no matter what, nobody can match his strength because he's been able to defeat anything with one punch. Okay? So the point I was trying to make is that they were also talking about Deadpool being a parody of the modern superhero movie.
Yeah.
And
or is making fun and is being lighthearted about the superhero genre, but is not like openly criticizing to a hard point.
Yeah.
Where Watchmen is definitely a satire on superheroes and a little bit on culture of comic books, which Alan Moore was known for. Alan Moore was known for doing a lot of writing.
There's literally 3 people in Watchmen. The way that it's from Wisecrack, by the way, the video. Mm-hmm. Anyways, there's literally the way they describe there's 3 people who represent Batman.
Yeah.
Okay. If you combine them, they are Batman. It's Ozymandias,
Owlman,
Rorschach, and Owlman.
Is Owlman, yeah.
Okay.
Night Owl.
Night Owl. So Ozymandias is the industrious and rich Bruce Wayne. Mm-hmm. Rorschach is the dark and brooding detective.
Yeah.
And Night Owl is the nerdy inventor with the gadgetry. Okay? So you combine all of those, they become Batman. Mm. And then Dr. Manhattan is basically the bad version of Superman.
Yeah, or like Silver Surfer.
Or, the person, basically it's the God figure.
Yeah.
The God figure, which Superman usually takes that role.
Yeah.
And Gray's peeing.
God, it's peeing so loud. So back to the point. I just do feel like, and I'm not criticizing social media. I'm not saying you should get off social media in general at all.
Oh well.
But I'm saying is that I think there's like a simple, like an easy gratitude, an instant gratification to your comments and being like, oh, let me be as harsh as possible to criticize this one topic, instead of like having like a well thought out explanation, which we should. We're much smarter human beings than we've ever been, and we should be able to explain things and tell them why we feel like this makes us feel the way we do.
Yeah. So I wasn't actually done, but anyways.
Go. Sorry.
It's fine. Part of this talk from Wisecrack had a story, an old Greek mythology that basically it was a parody and a satire. Okay. It had. You're gonna see how this actually inspired a couple things.
Go for it,
because it's pretty fucking obvious. Anyways, so this Greek person, I forgot the name, and well, most of the names in the stories, found a ring that would turn him invisible. Mm-hmm. You can see that it inspired Lord of the Rings a little bit. Okay. But anyways, so because he was invisible, he went and raped the queen, and then killed the king. Okay. And then he came back out. Took off the ring, and acted like nothing ever happened. Mm-hmm. And obviously, there was no repercussions to that because he was invisible. Nobody could prove that it was him.
So where's this funny? Because it's supposed to be a parody.
It's a satire.
Okay.
So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because there is a sense of anonymity.
Okay.
Okay, and this anonymity is also present in the internet. Even though you can go to somebody's profile, you see their picture, you see their name, and all that stuff, there's still an anonymity because you can delete something off the internet. There's a couple things that you can do.
Well, James Gunn couldn't. So.
Because James Gunn had already apologized to all that stuff, which that's another thing I would actually like to talk about.
Well, we'll get to it. So finish this
okay,
topic.
There's a certain level of anonymity on the internet when you're just talking and shit posting that, it gets to that point where people just say stupid shit to piss people off, and then people get pissed off and say other shit that pisses people off more, and that's how like a whole bunch of shit happens on the internet.
So the ultimate reason I wanted to talk about this today, besides the Ruby Rose thing and besides like recent Star Wars backlash and a lot of internet, there's probably a nerd culture debate, like big hatred war going on now. The reason why I wanted to bring this up today was we live in Miami, and we're not that far away from Jacksonville. And last weekend, a guy at a Madden tournament decided to end 2 people's lives because he lost a tournament. And I feel like that hatred ultimately does end up getting a little bit more expressed in video game tournaments and in video games in general. People rage quit all the time in video games. We've seen many famous videos which we think are funny sometimes, and they are. But I'm not saying that this person, I'm not going to excuse this person. This person was a terrorist. I'm not even going to say his name, but what he did was terrorism in its finest form, and I don't want to give him the excuse that he was a troubled youth or that he was being made fun of or something like that. But I would say that of the communities that do like rip each other apart a lot, it is Madden. Like Madden players are really harsh with each other. You don't think so?
Oh yeah, I do. Great farted. That's what I mean.
Okay, Alex made the stink face. And I think, not saying that this would have avoided the situation that happened. I think this guy was going to do what he was going to do if he lost no matter what. When you bring a gun to an event like that, that's what's going to happen. But again, man, it's this thing that I think the more we get in touch with like social media and the more we get in touch with this machine, and the more we kind of become part of the machine, and we think that deleting people is the correct answer. Do you get what I mean by that? I don't mean to get philosophical.
I think you're being a little dramatic, but yes.
I am being. I mean, we're doing a podcast. I'm allowed to be a little dramatic.
Oh, fuck off. Okay.
So you want to talk about?
There's two games that I can say that yes, for sure. There's I would say actually 3. That there's tournaments that no matter what, there's going to be a lot of shit talking and all that stuff. Actually, no, there's going to be a lot, actually. You know? You know what? All tournaments, there's going to be a lot of shit talking because that's going to throw somebody off their game.
Yeah.
No matter what. You know? Because somebody, if they just keep on talking shit, they're going to strike a chord where you're going to be like, oh, fuck him. You know? And then it's going to throw you off your game. And maybe that's what happened with this guy. I don't know or care because I'd rather just... He deserved what he did, which nothing like that is excusable.
No, it's not. I'm not making an excuse
especially if it's a fucking video game.
Yeah, again, but if I could show you the comments of people who were like telling us that they wanted to kill us when we came out with our Batman vs Superman review. When we came out with our Suicide Squad review, I did get scared for a while. I didn't want to do podcasts because people were getting really mad at us. So the point is that I just think people need to be more kind to each other. I hate saying that. I feel like I've said this like a million times on our podcast, but I think it still holds true today that we need to be kinder to each other, and we need to stop treating each other like we're a profile picture on Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, because that's what people see, you know. That's kind of why I got off of social media, because I stopped caring what people thought, you know. So I didn't want to like read what people thought, you know. If I wanted to see what people thought, I would talk to them, face to face, because you know what the thing is that face to face you have repercussions, no matter what.
Yeah,
you know. Because if you talk to somebody face to face, even through text message, even through the phone, they will fucking like demolish you. They will fucking tell you're the fucking worst person in the world and all that stuff. And you talk to them face to face, you're looking them straight in the eye, and they'll tell you you're the greatest fucking person they've ever met. Yeah,
because there's that fear. There's not fear, but I would say it's more like, oh Christ, this person is real. This is not just a bubble on a text screen. This person's real. This person has blood and bones just like I do. This guy bleeds red just like I do. And I think we forget that a lot, man. I think especially now, again, I hate bringing social media and like demonizing social media, which is not. It's actually made our world better. We communicate better with each other, but because of that, we have to allow all open communication, and sometimes that sucks. Sometimes people are really horrible. Nazis are back in form because of that a little bit.
I think that's a little bit of an exaggeration.
That's a little bit of an exaggeration, of course, but I'm still saying, but
because I think that's mainly the media, because
no, there are people who still believe that Nazis are.
Yes, I'm not gonna say that they don't exist. I'm not gonna say that they're not out there, but I'm gonna say that the media has probably pushed that to the forefront. That's God, he farted again.
I hate having this philosophical, serious talks with you while Gray's like just bomb farting, carpet bombing us with farts.
Yeah. So, anyways,
oh my God, Jesus, Gray, so acidy. It's like in my mouth now.
Yeah. Anyways,
it's like drink. It smells like sour orange juice, like the worst sour orange juice.
I don't want to picture what it smells like.
Oh my God.
Anyways,
so go ahead.
I think the media, and because a lot of people don't really know how the media works nowadays. They will push the most sensational shit in the fucking world out in front to get clicks.
Yes,
because that's how they make money.
Because journalism now is not how it used to be. The
thing is that most
journalism used to be the same way, I think, in the past, but like
most stuff nowadays goes by advertisements.
Yes.
Okay. So if for example, Google is one of the biggest advertisers. You use Google, and they make money because you saw an advertisement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and they can prove that you saw the advertisement. So the company that is paying for the advertisement will pay Google. That's why Google is so fucking rich right now.
They also have YouTube. They have a lot of other things.
Yeah, but the thing is the same thing. They advertise on YouTube. They advertise on everything. They advertise on everything. So one of these media companies, like I'm sure that this is how like BuzzFeed got big and now this and all these smaller ones.
Yeah.
That they got big because they said like some sensational shit. A whole bunch of people were like, what the fuck? And they clicked on the article and boom, there's 3 different fucking advertisements right there that you have to scroll down and then get to the article. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, okay, yeah. It's not really that bad.
I think as much as I want to agree with that argument, I don't think newspapers of the past were any different. I think they would post. New York Post, for example, was very sensational in how they posted stuff because they wanted you to buy their newspaper. So
I'm not saying that it was never like that. I'm saying that there's more of it. Great.
What's he doing?
No. He's tearing up another fucking toy. No.
See, I told you, we jinxed it. I totally jinxed it.
No, he was chewing on it. He fucking look, there he goes again, fucking chewing on it.
So, my point, my bigger argument was just try to be kind to each other, and as much as you want to spill your hatred out there, and as much as you want to take it to the ultimate level, I think you need to realize that people are human beings just like you that want to live in this world, and I just hate it because I feel like even though I'm making like a really crazy connection from the Jacksonville stuff to people hating on Ruby Rose, I don't think it's that far of a different connection. I think that vitriol and that hatred comes from the same place, more or less, sometimes.
Not really. Okay, look, that guy was fucking sick in the head. No matter.
He was. No, he was.
There's nothing. There's nothing. Nothing to say about it because you know what? Because when I was a kid, I've been in many fucking video game tournaments. I've been in Smash Brothers. I've been in a Madden tournament. I've been in.
Me and you going at it.
I've been in a Halo tournament back in high school when Halo was on the computer.
Yeah.
I've been in a Halo tournament. I've been in Unreal tournament. Yes, I lost a lot. And there's like only a few times where I've actually won. It's never a fucking excuse to kill somebody over a game, whether it's a video game, a football game, a fucking any type of game. Doesn't matter.
I agree.
it's because it's a game.
But then I can make the same argument about like our hatred. We're not killing anyone, obviously, but our hatred for movies and for like Ruby Rose being hired as Batwoman.
I mean,
it's just a show. It's just a movie. I can make that same argument.
That's true. The thing is,
and sometimes people's lives get. Ryan Johnson, I don't think is gonna get another directing job for a while because of the hatred that has.
The thing is
Star Wars.
that because he fucked up Star Wars. I'm not even gonna.
You're not gonna budge on this.
I'm not gonna budge on that. He fucked it up because the thing is, you know what they're saying? J.J. Abrams is saying that he's probably going to have to split up episode 9 into 2 parts to fix this shit. He said it. Dude.
I just think it's funny that I
remember. You know how much bullshit he needs to spin up in order to fucking make everything make sense again?
I just remember, this is the thing I always remember, is me coming on a movie theater with you and me being like, I don't like this Star Wars. And
you were like, oh, I don't like this Star Wars. And I was like, what
are you talking about, Ito? It was great. Stop being an asshole. And I love how
you became like iffy on it, and I became hardcore fuck no.
Yeah.
You know? It's like because because I started seeing what you were talking about, because I started really thinking about it. Remember, it was basically what was the movie that you saw it and you were like okay with it, and then you started really fucking hating it? It was one of the DC movies.
I mean, Suicide Squad. I was trying to be okay with it, and I was like, you know what, this fucking movie's horrible. God, everything I felt for this movie is true. But again, these are my personal feelings. These are like what I believe.
Yeah. So, anyways,
there are people who like. Okay, you know what blows my mind? There are people who hate like the Dark Knight Returns, not Dark Knight Returns.
Dark Knight
Rises, and I don't understand that. I think that's the best portrayal of Bane we're ever going to get on screen. I think that's one of the better movies, one of the better endings of the movies. We get the best portrayal of Alfred and Alfred's like own inner turmoils with Bruce Wayne being Batman. I loved everything expressed in that movie, but some people legitimately hate Dark Knight Rises.
No, because I mean the way that the reason why, and this is what I've heard. The reason why they hate it is because people are saying people have said that they reduced Bane to a glorified bodyguard.
I don't feel that way. I feel like if anything, him and Talia Ghul were like 1-1 in the same fight.
Yeah, I don't feel that way either. But the thing is, I see where they're coming from, because the thing is that at the end of the day, he was still following orders from Talia al Ghul.
He was, and Talia al Ghul is definitely the bloodline of the League of Shadows is Ra's al Ghul, and then after that it's going to be Talia, of course. But I don't feel like Bane was made lesser in that movie. In fact, Bane was like the focal point of that movie throughout. Yeah. It was the twist at the end that yes, she was Talia al Ghul that whole time. Spoiler alerts. I apologize if I spoil this movie for anyone, but
I mean,
and then the idea like you want like a jacked up, like roided out Bane in this real world scenario. Like I understand, probably
as it is, he fucking punched through a column.
Yes, and he was huge. Like in comparison to how Batman looks, and Batman who is wearing a lot of armor in general. Like Bane is not wearing. I mean, Tom Hardy's not wearing as much armor as Bruce Wayne's Batman is. And it's ridiculous for people to be like so hard about like, oh, he's not like this huge menacing. He is menacing. He was ridiculously menacing. You don't have to get off menacing by stature, is my point. Sometimes you can get off menacing by the way you look, i.e. Heath Ledger's Joker, i.e. Who's another character who I can think is menacing? Scarecrow is menacing. Who's someone in Marvel I can think is menacing? You know who's a character I was recently watching that I think menacing of is Darren Cross in the first Ant-Man. Like you could feel like that guy. Obadiah Stane is the people you do not want to cross. That you just know that, like, they're going to like destroy your life, literally.
I would say. Hold on. I'm the Vulture.
The Vulture, yes. Oh my God, Michael Keaton's Vulture. So my point is, we have different perspectives. Everyone has a different. You really hate Star Wars now. I even switched my perspective.
I don't hate Star Wars.
You hate the
I
Last
hate
Jedi.
what they did to Star Wars.
Yes.
And I think that I'm not in the vocal minority that everybody keeps saying that we are.
No, I don't think so either.
Because the thing is, I've talked to a lot of people who say that The Last Jedi is the worst Star Wars that they've ever seen, and because of that they didn't go to see Solo. I've talked to many people who say that.
But do you feel like your anger and your feelings for Last Jedi will now allow you to speak in like a discussion manner with a person who loves it?
No, I don't see why I would not be able to speak with somebody who loves it. That's fine. You can love it.
Yeah.
I personally don't like. Well, I mean, I don't hate it either. I just think it has a lot of flaws, and then the fact that Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy were disrespecting the fans. The main people who you're trying to appease and have and take our money.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't want our money, that's not a problem. We're not gonna fucking pay you for shit.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with Solo.
Gotcha.
So
that got really serious. I got really serious with it.
Yeah. Okay, so one more thing I want to say.
Do you want to talk about James Gunn?
I do want to talk about James Gunn.
Go for it.
Robert Downey Jr.
So Alex, what he means by that is Alex has been making the counter argument to James Gunn's been fired, and he's confirmed going to stay fired as per Disney. Has stated that they will not rehire James Gunn, even though the cast and there's been a lot of public pressure to rehire James Gunn. Well, they've decided to stick with their guns and keep James Gunn off Guardians of the Galaxy 3. As far as director,
if they rehire James Gunn, it's going to look worse.
Yes.
So they're not going to.
Yes.
They already jumped the gun and fired him as it is.
Yes. So the reason Alex is bringing up Robert Downey Jr. is because
Robert Downey Jr.'s past is not as clean as James Gunn.
I mean, Robert Downey Jr. literally went to jail.
Robert Downey Jr. has been to jail for drug possession.
Yeah.
He has multiple mugshots. Josh Brolin, Thanos, the main fucking villain of all of Marvel, has been being built up since fucking forever, beat his wife and went to jail for that.
Yeah. So,
I'm pretty sure Jeff Bridges did something too that was pretty bad.
I don't remember.
I mean, well, not pretty bad. I think he had like a DUI or
if we even go outside of Marvel Universe, we talk something other than Disney.
Oh, fucking Johnny Depp with Pirates of the Caribbean. He was into drugs too back in the 80s. I'm pretty sure.
But you want to go like mugshots, since we're talking mugshots, I'm always thinking of this one. If you want to go with another Disney company, Pixar, Toy Story, Tim Allen was a cocaine drug dealer for a long time.
Yeah, Tim Allen.
Before he became Home Improvement dad. It's funny how Tim Allen went from cocaine drug dealer to at one point the American dad of the 90s. And
then Buzz Lightyear.
And Buzz Lightyear, yeah.
So I mean, if the one thing I'm saying is there had to have been something else other than these tweets that got James Gunn fired. Because if so, then Disney's not being consistent whatsoever.
Well, we've talked about this before. And I've talked about this with you actually while we were at Disney a few weeks ago. That I think the real reason that Disney fired James Gunn is because James Gunn was becoming overtly political in his Twitter. And the way, first of all those tweets got founded was by a pro-Trump, a pro-leftist movement, alt-right, movement that went literally diving through his Twitter to find anything to bring up dirt on James Gunn.
I wouldn't doubt it,
So the point was that Disney, as much as we like to believe is liberal and as much as we love to believe that Disney is a company that's very accepting of a lot of things, they do not want to enter into the political sphere as much as we want to believe they do.
Nope. I can imagine that they don't.
So, especially nowadays. So that's the real reason I think James Gunn got fired. I still believe wholeheartedly that they are going to use James Gunn's script. I don't see them using a script different than the one that James Gunn wrote for.
Honestly, I think that the best move to make right now, Taika Waititi.
I think you brought Taika Waititi. I think honestly, in a way to show solidarity with James Gunn, and maybe to even kind of like show underhandedly that, hey, we made the wrong move, is hire his brother to be the director and make Sean Gunn the director.
But I don't think they're gonna do that.
Because Sean Gunn has been involved with James Gunn Productions ever since he started. He probably has just as good as a grasp of directing. And, I mean, James Gunn, Sean Gunn, you can make the argument, is probably more involved in the Marvel Universe than even James Gunn. Because he did, he not only does the mocap for Rocket and for other characters, but he has just a better grasp, and he's been involved in a lot more productions than James Gunn has. So that's my opinion. Taika Waititi is also a really good choice because he hits the same argument, the same audience, and he hits like a lot of the same notes what he did with Thor Ragnarok.
That's why Thor Ragnarok was basically. I don't want to say it was basically Guardians of the Galaxy, but like it was very Guardians of the Galaxy-esque because of the way that, first of all, that Guardians of the Galaxy is a very colorful Marvel movie.
Yep.
Before Thor Ragnarok, the Thor series was not a very colorful movie. It was very.
The first one was. The first one,
it still even wasn't that colorful in comparison.
A little bland because they were trying to go with a very Hamlet approach to it, which is something I like that Kenneth Branagh did with the first Thor, because it was very Hamlet-y, to the point that they made fun of it in Avengers. Mm-hmm. But I did like what Taika did. He did expand on it, which is what Thor: Dark World should have done. But you can't.
The Thor: The Dark World was very Hamlet-y as well.
Yeah.
But Thor Ragnarok, it was a very good movie. Especially, it was very colorful. That's first of all. Second of all, it handled the cosmos very well.
Yeah.
I like how how can I say this? I like how they make it seem like the Asgardians aren't really using magic, that they're using a special type of technology that they have access to.
Yes.
That it's not actually like magic. I
don't know, because there's like parts, especially with Hela's character, she looks like she's using magic, like straight out magic.
Yeah.
Like she literally makes a zombie army in that movie. Yeah. She has a giant wolf dog as her like tank. But
yeah, either way, I feel like also the fact that all the little quips and all that stuff, it's very Taika Waititi, like his style, and then also it's very it's very Guardians-esque.
It does flow well with the Guardians of the Galaxy universe, which we even saw in Avengers, in Infinity War, that the character that flowed the best with the Guardians of the Galaxy was Thor, ironically.
And then also another two directors that I think could handle the Guardians of the Galaxy is the Russo brothers.
I really don't think. I feel so like they have to be.
Yeah, they probably are really tired of the Marvel universe, and I'm sure that after Avengers 4, they're just gonna chill the fuck out. But the thing is that I'm sure that if Disney offered them a bucket of money, that they wouldn't say no.
I would just be like.
But the thing is,
if I was a Russo, if I was Disney, I would offer the Russo brothers like an island in Fiji, like their own private like Fiji island.
Just give them a fucking Disney cruise liner,
just give them a Disney cruise liner and just don't bother them for like 3 months.
Yeah,
because they gotta be exhausted. Like I would be exhausted doing.
So yeah, I would say that give them the Guardians of the Galaxy, and the reason why is because although James Gunn did direct the scenes with the Guardians of the Galaxy in it, they had the final say of what went into the movie and what didn't.
Yeah.
So if they didn't like the way that the Guardians...
Oh, my God, Grace Fart.
Yeah.
God, Jesus.
If they didn't like the way that the Guardians...
colorful. Oh, my God.
If they didn't like the way that the Guardians were being directed or anything like that, they would have just said, okay, no, fuck that. We're not putting that in the movie. I don't care how much you have experience with the Guardians of the Galaxy, Mr. Gunn, but that's not going in our movie. You know, they could have said all of that, and they could have just kicked them off, you know, because technically it was their movie. They brought them in as a courtesy.
I do think it was really valiant of the Guardians of the Galaxy cast to make that petition of the whole entire cast asking Disney please to like not to reconsider what they did. I think it was a really nice move, and it shows how much that cast loved James Gunn, and that he was just a great director.
Yeah.
But sometimes, unfortunately, big conglomerates have to stick to their guns on things like that, even if they're wrong.
I mean, Disney messed up, and I'm sure they know it, because the thing is that, you know, you're not gonna get anybody like that. You know,
unfortunately,
James Gunn is the person who was involved with Guardians of the Galaxy since day one.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's written all the scripts and everything.
Yeah.
They already had plans for Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and with his firing, they're probably gonna have to come up with a whole new script.
I think that's the one thing they can get away with is literally keeping a script. I honestly
the thing
think
is, if they fired him and everybody, pretty much everybody knows about it.
Look, they
can't just credit him with the wide. I mean,
yes,
they could.
They can, because I'll give you a perfect example. They credited Edgar Wright for writing Ant-Man. And if they can do that, they can credit James Gunn for writing Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And both got fired on questionable circumstances. So that's how I feel.
Well, I don't know. I just think that Disney needs to be more consistent with the way they're firing people. Apparently.
Yes, because even your biggest stars apparently have mugshots and questionable pasts.
Oh, and do you want to know something else, which I thought was funny?
Go.
Once James Gunn got fired for his tweets,
you
know who deleted 10,000 of their tweets?
Ryan Johnson.
Ryan fucking Johnson.
I know. I heard.
So he can go eat a dick.
So with that, guys, we would love to be at DragonCon this year. If anything, just send us any videos or any content you made from DragonCon. We really wish we went. I really apologize that we didn't. Again, it's not just my own personal financials, but like Diana is going through a not a rough go, but she's got a new job now and she's dealing with her own stuff. So it was gonna be tough for both of us to do DragonCon. Honestly, it was really gonna be a tough mission for us to both do DragonCon. Not saying that we're never up for challenges. We are, and we've proven that before. But reality does sometimes set in, and we have to adjust to that. Again, we're really sorry we didn't go to DragonCon. DragonCon's a great place to go to. You can find out more about DragonCon itself at DragonCon.com. I hope you guys are having a fun time over there. Please don't drink too much, because that's apparently a big deal with DragonCon. Me and Alex are going to do an episode next week talking about our top 5 favorite video game cabinets. If you guys have any suggestions about video game cabinets you want to give us, by all means do it, because me and Alex love talking about video games. In fact, I still haven't posted the God of War review that we did a while ago.
What the fuck?
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Hello, McFly.
And then we got to talk about Spider-Man when it comes out for sure.
Which that's already pre-ordered, so
yeah.
I'm gonna play it as soon as I get back from our Disney trip.
I miss the day of like that being my little birthday gift to you, like that we used to stand in line opening nights.
Fuck that, no man. I fucking bought that shit when I heard about it.
Oh, but come on, bro! You don't miss like standing in line at GameStop and being like the first one to get the game in your hand.
No,
you don't miss that. I miss it a little bit.
And fuck GameStop.
Oh my!
You know that
don't say that. GameStop, if you love us and you want to, advertise.
No, GameStop is shady too, man.
Okay, again, Alex, come on. We want some money to come our way.
Well, you haven't been fucking getting sponsors, so.
Well, yeah, but doesn't mean that we can't.
And GameStop is gonna.
You don't know.
GameStop
might want to sponsor us. God, GameStop's not all bad.
No, they are. you know that because the thing is they make pure profit on the used games.
Okay.
So they'll sell you a used game in place of the new game. So like you'll think you're buying a brand new game, but you're gonna buy a scratched up fucking CD. You know, that's all used games. So they make pure profit on that. So they push that on you. And, you know, there's nothing you can really do.
Gotcha.
And that's shady. I'm sorry. That's fucking shady.
Okay. So, again, if you guys want to advertise with us, or if you guys do want to help us out, by all means, you can
GameStop, if you want to send us some money, that's fine.
And GameStop, I'm pretty sure Alex's, we do not condone Alex's comments here. That's just Alex's own personal view, and I'm pretty sure ever since this...
You can extend that to Lucasfilm and DC Studios, DC Studios, or DC...
DCU.
Or just Warner Brothers in general, and then you can also extend that to Disney.
No, we love Disney here. We bow down to
I know.
Budweiser.
I'm just saying, like, you know, all the bad shit that I said about all these different companies, you can pay us for that. It's fine. Thank you.
You can pay us for us talking horrible about you?
It's fine.
God,
Thank
Alex.
you. You know, we would love to be sponsored by you.
Yes, we
God
would.
knows we fucking spent so much money at fucking Disney.
Oh my God.
And next weekend we're
going
to Food and Wine.
Yeah.
In Epcot. So we're gonna spend at least $200 per person, and
we're gonna go
people.
crazy.
And there's gonna be 4 people in our party. So that's $800 plus the annual passes that me and my brother have, and my wife Norleen, and the what is it, $120? The general insurance is.
Well, no, because now we got the friends and family thing, which I think it brings it down to like $80.
Okay, well, whatever. But the whatever entrance fee that Us is gonna be paying. So let's just say that you're gonna make over $1,200 in total from us this weekend. So you can pay a little bit of that back, I think.
Whatever you want to do, Disney. Don't hurt us, please.
Yeah.
For God's sakes.
You know, if not, I'm going to fire you like you fired James Gunn.
No, you're going to fire Disney.
I'm going to fire Disney.
All right, good luck with that.
Because I fucking employ them. So I'm not
you
going to
don't employ them. You contract them out, but you do not employ them.
I fucking give them money for giving me shit that I like.
That's a trade of goods and services, Alex. That's not employment.
Well, what do I
that's
do?
Not
what do I do for my
employment.
boss then?
You do gainful employment because you do a service that's contracted
that
for
he
long
fucking
term.
Pays me to do a service.
Yes.
For him.
Yes.
Okay.
But there's a difference. There's much
Not really.
difference.
Not much.
Okay. Thank you, Alex, for being on the podcast. I'm really excited about.
I really love being on the podcast. Even though I think this may be my last time because my brother.
No, we're doing a video game cabinet podcast. I want to have you on that one because God knows the person I've been with to the most arcades with in my lifetime has been my brother.
That is correct.
We've been to a lot of arcades. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. What was the one that was there in Town Country Sunnies or something like that?
Oh man, Flippers.
That was good. Flippers. God, I miss Flippers. Remember that time that I won, I think, like 5 Pokemon cards?
Yeah.
And the guy just put the stack on the thing. He's like, all right. So I go through each Pokemon card, and I'm, like, looking at all the stats. He's like, hey, man, I don't have all day. And then you grab them from me, and you're just like, okay, that one. You remember that?
I think I do.
Yeah, and I was like, no, I don't want that shit.
I was like, you do want these. These are rare. They're worth, like, $5 each. So yeah, that was man, I miss those days. God, and going to like remember Bird Bowl? Well, no, Bird Bowl still has a
Bird Bowl still's around. It's just not as. I mean, no. It's changed a little bit. Yeah. I went there like maybe like 6 months ago. It's changed.
Yeah, they've been fixing it up. Thank God, because Don Carter's went down and all those other places went down.
You got Bird Bowl. You got Strike.
Is Strike still around?
I'm pretty sure, or it's something else.
I think it's called Bolero now, I think, or something like that.
And then you got the one in Sunset that nobody goes to.
I think that's still Strike. I think that's the one that's Strike. I don't know.
I think that one's Bolorama.
Oh yeah, they've all changed their names. The point is, there used to be like a huge amount of arcades here in Miami, and they're all gone now.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Arcade Odyssey, which we love you guys. We'll go back to you guys soon because we
they fucking
Arcade Odyssey.
They fucking changed Don Carter's to a fucking shopping mall. Not a shopping mall.
Did I take you to the back area of Arcade Odyssey? Did you and me do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I did show you. Remember, it was like
Yeah, you showed me
the
their
Indiana
fucking
Jones museum. Video games they have back there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I miss that place. God, that was so cool walking back there.
Yeah, who's watching this? Top men. Who? Top men.
Later, guys. Thank you for listening. Take it easy. Please remember to rate and review. Remember, you can find us on all social media at COSPLAY FAME.
FAME.
Take it easy.